Glash, we got to transition over to On the Rocks, a plethora of quarterbacks and important players. Christian McCaffrey, oblique. Trent Williams, ankle. Justin Fields, hand. Jimmy Garoppolo, back. Trevor Lawrence, knee. This is like when you bring your car to the shop and they're like, the headlights don't work, the mufflers, this and that, the drive shaft, whatever. So we're pleased to welcome in our mechanic, Sean Koerner, to he won't be able to diagnose these things, but at least tell us where these all impact the line and the betting market. Sean, great to see you.
Good to see you guys.
I mean, kick us off. Tim, what do you want to start?
Tim, this show is called Happy Hour. We're not in the garage, dude. I mean, we want to be over at the institutions, not the mechanics place. I got the drift. I got it. Koerner, what do you got for us, Koerner? What do we have to know about this Niners team? So, shocker, the Niners are hurt, but took enough time, third of the way through the year. McCaffrey's hurt, and so is Trent Williams. Great.
Yeah, so let's, I guess, kick it off with Christian McCaffrey. His accelerator is busted. I mean, oblique. And, he's the rare running back who may be actually worth like a half or a full point. I mean, he's been playing like a low-key MVP candidate this season. But the 49ers are stacked, and they could just lean on their pass game a bit more with Deebo Samuel, who can also, see designed rush attempts, Brandon Ayuk and George Kittle. However, they also might be without Trent Williams, who is one of the best left tackles in the game. And last year, the 49ers actually averaged a full yard fewer per rush when he wasn't on the field. So if both he and McCaffrey are out, that's going to be a pretty big blow to the run game. And both of them being out would be, combined 1.5 points, I would say. However, the Niners, the running scheme is still one of the best in the league. So they should still be fine with Elijah Mitchell and Jordan Mason, at least in the short term. They probably want McCaffrey, healthy and good to go for the playoffs. So I would not be shocked that they let him rest this week. And on the other side, we have to remember, the Vikings are without, arguably the best offensive player in the league in Justin Jefferson, who's also worth about 1.5 points to 2 points. So it could end up being a wash here. And, the Niners are -7 right now. If McCaffrey and Williams are both out, I could see it going down to -6.5 or even -6.
I don't want any part of Minnesota at all. But I mean, then that would probably make them the right side. So we will monitor those situations.
You know what, though? That makes me that reminds me too, like that. So there's a better chance with those injuries that it gets to 6.5 and not 7.5. Right?
Probably. I mean, they're probably factoring in that McCaffrey and Williams might not play anyway. Like if we do get news that McCaffrey, it did look like he avoided a long-term injury, so there's still a chance he plays this week. If both he and Williams and Deebo Samuel, who's also banged up, are all active, maybe this does get to -7.5.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. What do you got next?
I guess we'll go with Justin Fields.
You pick.
I'll pick. He's played much better this year thanks to the addition of DJ Moore, but he's still a below average quarterback. He ranks 32nd in success rate. He does obviously add, plenty of yards with his legs, and that does help his overall efficiency. But he's still a below average quarterback. However, his backup, who will probably be starting here, Tyson Bagent, is a undrafted rookie out of Shepherd. He was solid in preseason, but he still has to be one of the worst backups in the league. He had 2 turnover-worthy plays last week and just 15 dropbacks, which is by far the highest rate of all quarterbacks this year that have played at least 15 dropbacks. So just given the drop-off from Fields to, a really below-average backup, I would say Fields is worth, 2.5 to 3 points here. But, on the other side, the Raiders will probably be without their starting quarterback as well, with Jimmy G looking very dicey for this week. I'm assuming the Raiders will go with Brian Hoyer here, who's, I guess, the safer play, especially considering, they are favored against the Bears. So I think they'll want to go with more of a game manager and Brian Hoyer. There is a chance they will give rookie Aiden O'Connell a second chance at some point, but he has such a wide range of outcomes. I would assume they would want to use him in a matchup where maybe they're an underdog. Going from Jimmy G to Brian Hoyer is worth around 3 points. So I think this is probably a wash when it comes to the quarterbacks both being out. But, when it comes to the total, that is a massive hit to the total. I had this game around 42.5 if it was going to be Fields versus Jimmy G. But now with both out, I have this closer to 37, which is right about where the market is right now.
Really exciting. Really exciting.
Koerner, do you ever Koerner, be completely honest with me. When you're doing this, right, and you find out that it might be Tyson Bagent and Brian Hoyer, do you ever at any point sitting in your little perch say, I can't believe I do this for a living? Like, do you ever say that? Do you ever think that to yourself?
As somebody that just really grinds and loves preseason, I'm very used to matchups of like Brian Hoyer versus Tyson Bagent. So this is par for the course for me.
Wow.
That's such a professional, buttoned up answer. That's so professional. All right. Well, you hit on Garoppolo. How about Thursday night? Trevor Lawrence. He's it feels of all the guys, all the quarterbacks hurt, there's some optimism here with Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, it does look like, he's shaping up to be a true game time decision. So who the hell knows if he's playing tomorrow night. Heading into the season, it was looking like Lawrence could emerge as like a tier 2 quarterback that's worth, 5 or more points against the spread, but he's played much closer to an average, slightly above average QB this year, and now he's dealing with, a knee injury. So if he does suit up, he probably won't be 100%. So that might dock, a point and a half on the Jaguars point spread anyway, if he does suit up. But right now, I would say the drop-off between him and C.J. Beathard would be around 4 points. C.J. Beathard, he has a 2-10 record as a starter, but I do consider him like an average backup quarterback. A lot of those starts were with the Niners when they didn't have as many playmakers that they do now. And he played okay in those games, and he has a much better supporting cast here with the Jaguars. So I think he could be solid, tomorrow night if he has to start. I think if Lawrence plays, this game's going to be closer to a pick'em, where if he's ruled out, it'll be Saints -3, -3.5. So the fact that it's Saints -1.5 is right where I'm at right now, because like I said, right now it does look like Lawrence is a true coin flip to play tomorrow night.
Yeah, I think you bring up a good point, Koerner, in that it's not just about how much is this quarterback worth to the spread. What's the difference between him and his backup? The Chicago Bears, good on them. They have a backup that might be just as terrible as their starter. So,
Exactly.
So, I mean, it'll be very interesting to monitor these situations. I think also, too, Las Vegas would be out of their mind to play Aiden O'Connell instead of Brian Hoyer. Like, that seems like a very like tanky type move. It seems like let's see what we got here. The season's already over. They're 3-3, Koerner.
Oh, okay. First of all, other than, the 2 horrific fumbles, the horrific interception, the 8 sacks he took, he looked great.
That's what Justin Fields fans say.